Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make your C Pen perform a little better on the Samsung Galaxy S3. If you have already read or watched reviews of the C Pen or have purchased, then you know that for $30 it is a bit overpriced given that it's a very basic stylus with average performance, especially when compared to the Samsung Note 2's S Pen. Personally, I was a bit disappointed with the performance of the C Pen because my S3 phone isn't as responsive as I'd like it to be in some areas. It works fine when flipping through home screens and photos and typing or swiping, but certainly the C Pen does a below average job when used on the S Memo. And I like using my phone for taking notes and creating grocery shopping lists, for instance. Anyway, in the middle of my frustration, I decided to play with the C Pen and chanced upon an interesting discovery. You can actually make the pen glide more naturally, so writing is more precise and the screen more responsive. But I would recommend doing this only when writing on the S Memo because it's where it works better. But before you do the trick, make sure that your phone's screen has a protective foam or sheet. So, what's the trick? Very simple. All you have to do is flip the pen over. So instead of using the rubber tip, use the metal tip. Okay, so now let's try to go through the home screens using the rubber tip first. Yep, it is quite responsive, so it does the job very well. So now let's try with the metal tip. Yep, it does the job as well. So now let's try opening the gallery. Even the rubber tip is not that responsive. That's quite disappointing. Anyways. Yep. The phone responds quite well. But you just have to poke the screen a little harder. Now let's try with the metal tip. I think it's equally responsive. Now let's try texting, messaging, let's try swipe. It's quite responsive. Let's try with a metal tip now. Seems to be a little faster with metal tip, but they perform equally well. So now let's try the S Memo. come on. There you go. So here, what I'm thinking is I'll draw a line in the middle, and then we can see the difference in writing between the two. Okay, let's select a little thicker point to make it more visible. It's not working with the rubber very well. Yeah, that's better. See, as I've said, the rubber tip doesn't work that well on the S memo, which is a shame. Actually, let me draw the line first. Come on. See, it's not that good. But if we try with the metal tip, there doesn't seem to be any lag. See, you can write faster with the metal tip than with the rubber tip because there's no lag with the metal tip. Let's make the tip finer. Okay. See? So there you go. If you're writing on the S memo, I would recommend using the metal tip than the rubber tip. But if you're just drawing, scribbling something, just objects, shapes, then the rubber tip works fine, as in this case. But of course, if you need to write faster because you're taking notes while listening, then I would recommend the metal tip.